Well, it seems Dragon Ball is about to take a serious left turn in this story. And that is, what if Goku landed on Namek? And well, this story starts at the post-planet Vegeta, Gine and Bardock sending their younger son Kakarot off-world, much like they do in the original. However, the biggest difference is that instead of Kakarot going straight to Earth like he does in the original, he ends up flying right into a space storm that ends up muffling up all the coordinates. And by the time his space pod leaves the space storm, this pod takes a sudden basic left turn in the other direction, and Kakarot is now on his way to Planet Namek. And Guru, sensing the approaching Saiyan space pod, he orders, a handful of Namekians to intercept the space pod. As it finally lands and they look into it to see infant Saiyan inside, some of the Warrior Clan members are thinking, destroy it because they are all too familiar what a Saiyan is. Mori basically puts a stop to this. Since when do we murder children? You will do no such thing. And Mori basically takes the child in himself, raising him and giving him the name Saxopho. And basically, Saxopho, much like with Grandpa Gohan in the original story, Saxopho was quite hard to handle growing up. Having that, not wanting anything to do with Mori's kindness or anything like that, having that Saiyan temperament. But luckily, he doesn't need an injury to the back of his head to calm him down and turn him into a mild-mannered boy this time. After all, there are plenty of Namekian children there who are able to calm the boy down. And so, eventually, Saxopho came around. And well, it came clear that he would be suitable as a Warrior Clan member. So, he begins going under training as under the Warrior Clan. Now, Goku pretty much being weaker than any Saiyan in history at this point, even weaker than his mother, it's a long and arduous training journey for him. But by the time we get to his age where the events of Dragon Ball begins, he does pretty much catch up to the Warrior Clan. Pretty quickly, sparring, Zenkai boosts. So yes, Goku's power level is about 2,000 here. The only other junior Warrior Clans member that's on the same level as Saxopho right now is a very young Nail. And Nail and Saxopho have quite a bit of a rivalry. Now meanwhile, on planet Earth, yes, we are going to be talking about planet Earth and a little bit with what's going on here. Now, the biggest difference for the timeline on Earth is that Bulma is basically the fighter and the strong hero. But wait, DBRI, how is this possible? Well, when she's on a summer vacation and looking for Dragon Balls, when she gets to Mount Palzu and meets Grandpa Gohan, he simply is not willing to just depart the Dragon Ball to a girl who won't be able to protect it, or herself for that matter. So he puts Bulma through a bit of a training regime, including, teaching her some martial arts, and so she's able to better look after herself. And basically does increase her strength and speed, as well as gives her a pretty good martial art technique. She could definitely battle some of these creepy beast men running around, and dinosaurs, and, other creeps like that. In fact, some of these martial arts, she wished she knew some of these martial arts for some of those city creeps who hit on her back home. But ultimately, she does like the martial arts, and once Grandpa Gohan sees that she can now protect the Dragon Ball, he gladly parts with it on the promise that Bulma will at least show him all 7 Dragon Balls, and, just to find out if the legend is actually true. And basically with that, most of the Pilaf Sagas plays out similar to the original, just basically everything that Goku did in the Pilaf Saga, Bulma did. And well, the biggest difference I would have to say in the Pilaf Saga was the first meeting with Roshi. Bulma actually ends up in a fight with the old master after returning Turtle, when Master Roshi, wanted to pat her chest, or whatever it was that Roshi was doing. yeah, Bulma actually tried to fight the old master, and once Master Roshi clicked on that some of those moves were familiar and that she was trained by Gohan, and that Gohan has basically agreed to her quest, Roshi was more than willing to part with the Dragon Ball. Now, if you think we're going to get Bulma flying Nimbus Cloud, you are mistaken. She does have the power pole. She does have Grandpa Gohan's power pole in order, so she can better protect herself. And of course, to smooth things over with the Ox King later on. So, anyway, she is given the Dragon Ball per Grandpa Gohan. Same with the Ox King. She does stop Oolong and force him to join her, like in the original. Same with Yamcha and Pua. And, well, the biggest obstacle, of course, turned out to be Pilaf and the gang. However, with them not expecting this kind of fight from, let alone this girl, yeah, they end up a sorry bunch, because Bulma does not pull her punches one little bit. They take Pilaf's Dragon Balls, the ones that he had collected, and they, as promised, does return to Grandpa Gohan. They summon the dragon, and, well, since no one actually knew what to wish for anymore, Bulma having a thing for Yamcha, Oolong steals the wish for the world's most comfortable pair of underwear, like he does in the original. And so, with that, pretty much the summer vacation's over. Bulma does manage to graduate from university and pretty much begins training under Master Roshi in time for the World Martial Arts Tournament. Her training partners are Yamcha and Krillin, who Yamcha tagging along with Bulma. And yeah, and this leads to the Tenkaichi Budokai turning out a little bit differently, with ultimately Bulma battling with Jackie Chan in the final round, and ultimately losing to him, but not before she basically kicked him hard enough that his wig fell off, and that being revealed that it's their disguised master, they're a little angry with him for pulling the deception, but after he explains what it was all about, they could definitely forgive him, and Yamcha could definitely feel better that he lost to his master rather than some random stranger. And, Bulma could sort of respect that too. As well as Krillin. And well, so moving right along in the story, pretty much the Red Ribbon Army pretty much loses in the same way. Bulma pretty much doing everything that Goku does, including the eventual defeat of Mercenary Tao, and even deciding to use the Dragon Balls to wish back Upa's father, Bora. And as for the final big battle with the Red Ribbon Army, Bulma did actually need some help beating all of them. She wasn't quite as strong as Goku, but she was definitely getting there. She was strong enough to beat Tao, with especially with Yamcha with her. So she definitely had help with defeating the rest of the Red Ribbon Army. So Roshi and Krillin, Oolong and Launch definitely got to stretch their legs in that side of the story. And well, as we got into the Tien Shin Han side of the story, essentially the same thing happened. Roshi talking to the young man and Tien Shin Han ultimately turning good in the finals after realizing that Chaozu was paralyzing Bulma in the final round of the tournament. Now, if you think that Bulma has forgotten about all her scientific technology stuff, think again. She still loves to tinker away, and she's still as smart as she is in the original. Smart inventor and all of that. I haven't taken any of that away from her. I just want to clarify that. And well, with ultimately Tien Shin Han ultimately winning the match, match like he does in the original, except battling with Bulma, well, this is where things begin to differentiate from the original story, the King Piccolo saga. And ultimately, with well, basically, yes, with Krillin's death like in the original. However, they do have a little bit more of a game plan going into face King Piccolo. They do bury the rest of the Dragon Balls they find in the meantime, just like they do, and basically, when it came time to face with King Piccolo, who was collecting Dragon Balls too, thanks to the Pilaf gang releasing him in the first place, we've got Yamcha, Chaozu Tien, Grandpa Gohan, Roshi and Bulma, all there for the action. Oh, and Launch too, who had later on become a pupil of Roshi's. So, pretty much you can imagine King Piccolo is actually in the losing side of this. Because while there's more than enough martial artists to keep King Piccolo distracted and occupied, while Master Roshi sets off the Martha Bar, which actually goes off without a hitch in this story. And before you say anything, they did actually get a few good shots on King Piccolo that he coughed up the Dragon Balls. So don't worry, we do get the Dragon Balls back. So, King Piccolo is sealed away in his jar again, and this time, Master Roshi will think of a better spot to hide it, so to speak. And well, basically the dragon is summoned, and everyone King Piccolo had killed and his minions had killed had been restored, including Krillin. Yeah. So, basically with that, as we get into the 3-year time skip for the next tournament, Bulma did indeed receive an offer from Kami to train with him for the next 3 years, just as a reward for everything she has done for Earth. And with, protecting the Dragon Balls. So, with that, Bulma undergoes the same kind of training Goku did in the original, and yeah, if you didn't think Goku could last a month in the Room of Spirit and Time, Bulma lasted a week. Hilariously. And, well, as for the tournament with no King Piccolo around, Bulma actually does win the World Martial Arts Championship, battling the disguised Kami as hero in the final match as sort of a rite of passage. And well, then we head into basically the 5-year time skip. Now, meanwhile, back on Namek, the years have gone by and Saxopho, aka Kakarot, has now come old enough that the Namekians have finally decided to tell Saxopho the truth of what he really is. They had saved the space pod for all this time, and luckily some of the audio transmissions that were stored inside the space pod had not been tampered with. And what was in this recording? Why, it was Bardock and Guinea's final words to their son. You know, their emotional goodbye from Dragon Ball Minus or the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie? Yeah, that. So he got to know that he was a Saiyan, and that he did have parents who loved him, or at least loved him as much as, as far as a Saiyan goes. Especially his mother, Guinea, who's always been, quite the unique Saiyan. And, well, as for Saxopho's power now, over the years of all this training, it's, it's over 9,000! After all, training with a bunch of warrior Namekians, all of which having pretty decent power levels of their own, and having a rivalry with Nail, oh yeah, that's gonna get the old Saiyan power level up alright. And so, now has come for the Warrior Clan tournament. And what is this tournament for? Well, the winner of this tournament would go on to serve the eldest Namek, Guru, as his personal guard. And now that the former servant of Guru is pretty much of retirement age, it's time for someone else to take up the mantle. And basically, Goku and Nail basically dominate the tournament and end up facing each other in the final. And they have developed a sort of friendship, but it's also still the same as sort of a rivalry friendship. You are a Saiyan, Saxophone. All your power, your gifts, only came from that body of yours. You have no real skill whatsoever. We'll see about that, Nail. And essentially, their powers are basically akin to each other. And the battle is quite epic. Ultimately, neither of them win. They both end up beating each other till they can't go any further. So, by decree, both of them would serve Lord Guru, the eldest Namek, until such time they would have to retire themselves. And, well, needless to say, it's not exactly the best job in the world. You pretty much stand there, watch to him and tend to him. It's a high honor, and it's the highest honor you can get as a Namekian warrior class, but there's not much really to protect him from, at least not yet. But don't worry, that's coming. Because, well, I think, at least for now, well, like I said, we are at the 5-year time skip, and now Raditz has reared his ugly head on planet Earth. And he's there, of course, looking for Kakarot. And, well, he does have a run-in with the Namekian Piccolo, and, well, he does read these other power levels that... No, wait, that's wrong. That's right, I sealed away Piccolo. There is no Piccolo. Okay, so there is no run-in with Piccolo. He does, however, detect this really high power level coming from one of the cities. And, well, and this power level is, pretty much probably what he might have expected from Kakarot, but no. He just sees, him hovering above the city. He just sees this girl walking out of the Capsule Corp building and is tinkering with one of her vehicles. What? How could one of these creatures have this kind of power? Where's Kakarot? He's not reading any other power levels like this one. Perhaps Kakarot actually did die on planet Vegeta. Maybe Gine and Bardock didn't get Kakarot off-world on time. That's what Raditz is thinking at this point. Despite the message from Gine saying that they sent him off-world, maybe he didn't escape the blast radius. So, for wasting his time, Raditz is infuriated. Well, I think this planet will be our next target for wasting my time. And as much as he's loathing going back to Vegeta empty-handed, who are listening to the whole thing, they're sort of just laughing at him through the scouter, he's on his way back to Vegeta and Nappa. And the good thing is, with Kami sensing this and knowing what's going on, this would at least give the Dragon Team 2 years to prepare before the Saiyans get back. It'll take them about a year to get back to where Nappa and Vegeta are, plus another year to travel back. Or I suppose Raditz could have just waited there for, waited for to basically arrive and we get a year, but nah, I thought it would be fun if we give them 2 years. After all, we need to make this a little bit interesting. And I think that's where we're going to leave things for right now. So what do you guys think? Did you enjoy this story? How are things going to go for the Dragon Team facing a full Saiyan invasion with all 3 Saiyans this time? There's no Goku around to help them this time. And, I don't know, is it possible that Bulma could somehow find a way to make up the difference? All this and more next time. And, what will become of Saxophone once we eventually head into the Frieza Saga? or some more next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Let's get this discussion going. And, yeah, I'll see you later.